All right, so there are 4 videos prior to this one. They're called Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4, and this will be Part 5. How logical. Okay, now, as people are playing this 7-note roll, and you might ask, well, why do I use the 7-note roll? And that is because if you're just starting, it emphasizes the downbeat or the first beat of each measure. So it's 1. And you'll see once people get into it, their body will move along with it. The 7-note roll is also exactly 1 measure long. So when you're changing chords, okay, so 2 things are going to happen. One, the student wants to play chords. Now, it makes sense to show the students things that use G's, C's, and D's, not get on some crazy tangent. Now, if a student asks you, oh, are these quarter notes? Are these eighth notes? If they start asking you musical questions, just remind them what Earl Scruggs said. They asked him if he knew much music theory, and he said, not enough to hurt my picking, okay? So if you get Mr. Analytical Baby Boomer engineer who wants to know the entire history of the banjo, you have to say, look, here's what we're teaching in this course. We're teaching you the basics, and the more that you repeat them, the better you'll sound, all right? So, you know, try not to get, if you get Mr. Curiosity in there, and you want to talk to him, just say, hey, after class, you know, answer your question, or, but you don't want 4 people sitting there while you're trying to answer a question, which, if it's a musical theory thing, it may not even relate to the banjo, because the banjo, in some ways, is very simple because you're playing out a G position. But if you want to play an A, many times you just put a capo on. So you're only thinking, in many cases, 3 chords. So you don't need to know a lot of theory to do that. Okay, so that's that. Now, if you're playing along with these songs, and on the CD, which we just showed you, and you can call me if you want one of this, but this has, I think, 18 different songs. You can see what the titles are at 3 different speeds. And particularly if you have amazing slowdowner, this is unbelievable. And you can go to banjocompass.com, and they may not even have this for sale. So you may have to call Jeremy, and there'll be a number there. It's 1-800-416-7088. That's 1-800-416-7088. It took Bert Casey about 150 hours to do this because all the speeds are done with instruments. We didn't use any slow downers, speeder uppers. It's not done electronic. These are all, every track, everything is done with live instruments, all right? So the student says, hey, I really want to play some chords. Okay, so if they've played a little bit before, and they, let's say, have worked on Boyle and Cap Sound, and they know this C position. Okay, so 2 things. First, you point out you don't need to make chords. But if you want to make chords, okay, here's your simple C. Then a D7th. And if there are any students watching this, you've got to be in time. In other words, don't try to play faster than what you can play. In other words, because if you're playing in time, it has that drive. So if I'm playing, And there's if you're watching this on YouTube, there are a lot of different videos, and one is, I think it's called Playing with Drive, and it shows you how to use a metronome, okay? So the second way to play chords is a simple one-finger method. So the G, nothing's happening. And then if you want to do a C, you just go up to the 5th fret. The D is right here. Okay. I mean, we're probably way beyond what they're going to learn in 6 weeks, with the exception of that there will be one fairly musical student who might learn a couple songs during the 6 weeks, or may just have a lot of free time and might spend 2 hours a day practicing. So that could happen. Now, people talk about the 3 positions of the left hand, meaning you've got the open position, which is a bar. So G, A, B, C, and so forth. That's one way to make chords. The second would be this position. I call it G at the 3rd fret. That's a C. That's a D. And then we have a D at the 2nd fret, E, and so forth. Okay. And I'm not going to go through and explain that, but this book here, Introduction to Banjo Rhythm and Backup, it shows you all the chords, all the positions, shows you a few things to do with the right hand, and sets you up to do backup. So you've got all your minor chords, your 7th chords, your major chords everywhere on the neck. And once again, the students probably won't use this, but the guy who maybe has played guitar, maybe he can make his chords and isn't really sure of the chromatic scale, this is the book to help him. Whoa, maybe I'll sell a lot of these. You never know. Maybe I can buy an island somewhere. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would say. And I guess the only conclusion is that if you master the basics, use a metronome to do your drills, relax, have a lot of fun, that you will be more successful doing that. And that's pretty much it. So I've covered just about everything. You'll have to, of course, judge how fast each student can go. You may leave out some of the stuff. You may have some other things you want to add. You'll have to determine the order and so on and so forth. But this is the general idea. And once again, if you have a laptop with a speaker, and if you have 2 of them, that's great. This will give you the option of demonstrating these books. It'll also give you the option of pulling, let's say a student's doing really well, you can hand them the banjo primer, a computer, or have them bring their own laptop. And of course, a lot of laptops don't play DVD, but if they do, bring it, and they can sit during class if you want. If you're doing an hour and a half, they may want to go away for 20 minutes, or when they walk in the door, they may want to practice with one of these DVDs. And what that does, that occupies their time, and then you have time to work with the rest of the students. And then maybe one of these students, after a while, he or she may then go to the workstation. And that's basically it. So good luck.